Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, and we are going to talk about why every dungeon master must immediately abandon the word campaign, and why campaign is no longer acceptable to be used for any Dungeons and Dragons series, for any Dungeons and Dragons adventures. All right, okay, this is important. All right, let's get into this. So first of all, I'm saying let's change one word. Okay, is that a small change? No, it's really big. Like, more than anyone on the planet, dungeon masters are aware that we change the world with language. So a lot of like geologists are aware that water runs as streams, as rivers, turns into lakes. It streams down mountains and it cuts paths. It has incredible power. Water has incredible power, right? It erodes beaches, right? Language is the same. It literally shapes the possibilities of all human beings, and it either kills those possibilities or it multiplies them, right? And dungeon masters are literally, in my humble opinion, the last group on the planet whose language can literally change the world for the better, right? Because every institution is off the board now. Churches shrinking like crazy. I can tell you that because I sit in one every Sunday. Incredibly difficult to get anybody new in. Scientists, nobody trusts them anymore. Nobody trusts them. We needed them shortly, a little bit ago. Asked them questions, did not get the answer. Like it's a real problem. Yeah. Government, like we'll all laugh together now, right? Teachers, yeah, like a lot. I think there's a few, like, I think everybody believes that there are teachers who truly care and really are really, trying to help students. Is it the macro level? Are 51% of teachers really engaged? It's a good question, right? Like every institution is shattered, right? And all that's left are dungeon masters. All right, let's get into this. Why do we need to abandon a campaign? Because of how the conversation goes. Okay, so you play Dungeons and Dragons, and you have a campaign that's 6 months. That's up for 6 months, right? And you go to your coworker and you say, "Hey, would you like to join? I know you've never played Dungeons and Dragons, but I would like you to join my Dungeons and Dragons campaign. I'm extending an invitation to you." And the person says, "What's a campaign?" And you're like, "Well, it's a series of adventures." And they're like, "Okay, all right. So how long is it?" And you're like, 4 hours. 4 hours. And the person's like, "I don't do anything for 4 hours," right? Like in a row. And now you're like, "Oh, sad face." And then you hear Scott Garabay's channel, and you realize, oh, no D&D session should be longer than an American movie. It's 90 to 120 minutes. All right. So you go back to him and you say, "Hey, you're right. 4 hours is too long. And now each of our sessions is 90 minutes to an hour and 20 minutes, just like a movie. You've gone to a movie." And the person goes, "You know what? I was really impressed with your charts last week, and I got a bonus thanks to those charts. I'm going to get, I'm hearing you." Okay. So each session is 90 minutes to an hour and 20. How long is the campaign? And you're like, "Oh, well, campaigns don't have a distinct ending." And you're like, "Well, okay, so you guys have been doing this for 6 months. When are you going to stop?" Well, there's no planned stop. It's usually, it could be 3 years, or it could be 30 years and ongoing. There's a guy up in Canada who has a 30-year ongoing Dungeons and Dragons campaign. And the person's like, "Oh, you had me at 90 minutes to 120, and then you lost me with campaign. I'm not signing up for anything without an end date." So how do we fix this? You never again run a Dungeons and Dragons campaign. You run, "Hey, I am running my Dungeons and Dragons adventure season 1 right now." Okay? And we're beginning on Sunday. And they're like, "A season? Ooh. I really liked season 1 of Stranger Things. And I liked season 1 of Burn Notice. And I liked season 1 of The Nanny. I'd like to be in a season. I'll be the star." And you're like, "Yes, you will be the star," right? And it's really quite fascinating, right? And at that point, it's really excellent. Like it actually turns into something special and exciting, and the person can be excited with you, right? And then then you're expecting the question, how long is the season? They never ask. Do you know why they never ask? They're like, oh, well, I would like to know how long the season is, but I already know how long the season is. It could be a British season, like Happy Village, like, yeah. That's a British season is 6 episodes, right? Could be a next Netflix season, that's 8 to 12, right? Could be, or it could be 12 and they cut it in half and give me 6 and pretend it's a season, but it's really only half the season, but that's only 6 episodes. Or it could be a Jason Bateman in the 1980s sitcom, 24 episodes. 24 episodes. How many episodes is in a season? For British, it's 6 episodes in a season. For Netflix, 8 to 12 in a season. For old school 80s sitcom, it's 24 episodes in a season. But I know how many, right? And if he's meeting weekly, I'm looking at 6 months of play, right? And they are not committing to forever. They are committing to a season, right? And they're excited about it. Never again should we ever use the word campaign. Going forward, we always say our Dungeons and Dragons Adventures season, right? And you can use exactly the same formula for canceling it or letting it, or quiet canceling it, never announcing it, cancel it, just not making season 2, or being like, everything's going so well here on episode 3, I'm already greenlighting season 2, where there's a structure and people know it and they appreciate it and they love it, right? Let's abandon the word campaign and let's only use season. That's the best path, in my humble opinion. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic, please consider liking, subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.